Perfect. There was a few person actually that had a few questions yesterday on that when you wrote about the omega. So,
oh, yes. Yeah, Anthony was one of them. I'll tag some people. I think we are live now. Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Wellness Wednesday. Super excited to have you here. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Brittany. I am one of the admins of this incredible community, and I am super excited to bring you my friend Tobias today to talk about omega-3s and the importance of omega-3 to omega-6 balance. If you're here live with us, say hello, drop us a hashtag live. I'm still being punished by Facebook within the groups for like another 15 days. So let's help get boosted in the algorithm so that everybody in the group can see this super valuable information. And I am going to introduce you now to my friend Tobias. Hi, Tobias. How are you today? Thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to join you. Thank you very much. I'm Tobias. I'm a chiropractor living in Sweden. So it's 10 p.m. right now. Brittany always thinks it's a little bit too bright outside, but it's, you know, that's the world. I'm kind of running a clinic in Sweden, and we do a lot of treatments, but we also have training, and we have mental things, and we also added a lot of nutrients just to get the wholeness actually in our clinic, because everything is connected in a way. So
Absolutely.
Shall I go on and just
do you want to go ahead and share your screen?
And if you have any questions or something during this, if you're here, just
leave them in the comment section and we can answer them in real time, you guys. So
there we go. I think that one's better. You can see that, Brittany, I think. Yes. I think you like this one. I actually saw that on your page, and it's an old one. So, but it still is important, even though it's a long time ago. So, and if you can't understand my English, just reach out. I can make it in Swedish maybe. Just as a beginning, a long time ago, we ate a little bit better. There was a lot of vitamins and minerals and fibers in our diet. And now today we eat a little bit lower nutrition density in our food. With a lot more sugars in it. We have empty calories, and you all know this. It's not just, this is, true for all vitamins and minerals and fibers and everything, actually. So it's not just about omegas, but it's just shortly getting the idea of the Cincino idea of it. So the history of omega-6 and omega-3 balance. When the human race was developed, we probably had like a one-to-one relationship between the omega-6s and omega-3. And this isn't, we all heard that omega-3 is the good guy, we needed to be smart. And it's not that the omega-6 is all bad, because we need omega-6s. But in the science, we can see that around 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 is 4-to-1 means 4 times more omega-6s than omega-3. That's quite a difference from 1-to-1, like 4 times more. But we still works quite good as human beings, actually. The thing with omega-6s is that it's pro-inflammatory in our body generally. We need inflammation sometimes when we get a scar, as I had on my arm a couple of days ago. We need an inflammation to heal. But the problem is when we have 10 times more omega-6s or 15 times, like the average in US today is actually 22-to-1. That's the average in the States today. And this isn't good. I met a guy in actually lives just 500 meters from me. He's a scientist in Sweden. He wrote a book called All About Omega, and that's when it all makes sense for me. Actually, this is in Swedish, so I didn't got it in English. But it's when you have saturated fatty acids, and the body makes the cell membrane for saturated fat. They are all like a straight line, like a number one. The cell membrane gets rigid and hard to get the nutrients in the cell. And the picture to the right is an omega-3 fatty acid, which is bent in two ways, which makes them, it's more separated. So all the membranes is more softer, and which is soft is good when it makes, you know, the arteries and the veins and everything softer and smoother in your body. So that was important for me when I started with all this, to get the idea, why is omega-3 so important in all our cells? And, you know, we are just millions and millions of cells. That's us, you know, human beings. So we need to take care of our cells. Even if it's a small part, it's, you know, everything, muscle, brain, bones. So when the cell membrane is too hard, it's hard for the nutrients to get in and the waste to get out. So we all need more omegas in our cell membrane, which makes them more softer, flexible. It's more easy to get the nutrients in, and that's for everything, vitamins and minerals and everything that's going to come in. So this is, omegas is in the one part like a base or a, you know, for health. And it's also good to take all the waste away. And I can see that in my patients when I'm, you know, making a treatment in muscle treatments or correcting the spine. I want a body that, you know, is, you know, getting better fast. So we can't have that hard kind of muscle cells. We need them soft. And we were talking a little bit earlier about the 10-to-1 or 15-to-1. And how do we know that? Well, actually, Sensina has developed a test. And it's kind of, I think it's kind of could have been like this, that, you know, of course they have a test and then they send out some bad numbers and then you're going to buy the balance oil and or omega-3 oil. But this is important for me that it's a third-party test actually. So it's not Sensino by themselves that test it. It's a test lab in Oslo in Norway that is the biggest, they have the biggest database on omega-3 in the world right now. So they've done like 800,000 tests. They have a partnership with Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford. It's a good lab. Brittany's done all this. So we're gonna show Brittany's numbers a little bit soon, later.
I was surprised.
Yeah, and actually now it's probably mostly Americans that are watching, so you have actually one of the worst numbers in the world at the wrong moment. I can show you that maybe later on what kind of countries are in the danger zone. So shall I show them, Brittany?
Yeah, we can go ahead and show my, yeah, for sure.
So this is you. I mean, a woman that are enormously a lot of information in your head. You know a lot of stuff. You eat healthy, and this is your life. And you still have 14.9-to-1 in the omega balance.
I took an omega-3 supplement too,
yeah,
prior to this, you know.
Do you eat any fish too, or is it
at least twice a week?
Is that like farmed fish or?
No, I get like wild caught salmon. They're like frozen or in the can. I do some like canned salmon and I make salmon patties. You know, and I try to include, you know, other seafood as well in my diet. And things that omega, like flax and chia and things like that. So I was actually pretty surprised with these.
Still, you're like 15. Now you're actually quite a lot better than the ordinary American, if you say.
Yeah.
So that could be, good for yourself to know.
Right. But what did you say? I was in the top 5% still in America, but even as unbalanced as I am, I'm still way better than most.
Yes, you're still pretty bad. And it's actually, maybe if you come down to the protection value, I'm not talking about that so much today, but if you have a lot of fatty acids, you have a better protection, you can say. But the other one is omega-3 index. That's quite a scientist-based, knowledge. So this is you want to be somewhere around 10%. And this is more like checking the oil in your car. It's just one value. The omega-6 and 3 ratio is like, 2. It could be, you don't know which one is low and high. It could be very low in omega-6s and very low in omega-3 and be good, or it can be very high in both. So it's like, comparison. But the omega-3 index is just only omega-3. And you're right about almost 4% there. So you should double it up, like 8% in your blood.
Yeah.
And we're testing the red blood cells. You also see, we can't test the mental strength, but we have a, algorithm for the DHA, omega-3 fatty acids called DHA. And you're pretty good on that one. So you're better in the mental strength. I will show you later in the next picture. This is a cell membrane fluidity. That's what makes, the cell membrane, as I showed you earlier, softer cell membrane, better fluidity, better nutrition in your cells, happier life, better life. You're a bit high in your arachidonic acid, which is omega-6s. This could be, or the Sensino solution for this is that if you increase your omega-3 in 120 days, which it takes 120 days to make new red cells, blood cells. So you probably will go down in the arachidonic acid.
Perfect.
The body chooses the best building blocks it can have, like the omega-3 before omega-6s. You also get like a table with a lot of numbers. So maybe this is a little bit too small for you to see. But in the DHA, omega-3, the target value is around 4.7 and you're 3.1. Well, it sounds pretty good, but you're still 34% under what you should have. But it's not that bad, actually, because I've seen a lot of tests. So it's pretty good. And that's why you're so smart.
Oh, thank you.
But the other one, the EPA, target value 4.15, you're 0.8, Brittany.
Yeah.
That's like 80% under. So this is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 120 days at least, it could be 30 days plus minus. All our cells dies and then the body makes new cells. So increase your level of omega-3, the body builds new membranes, and we test again. And that would be probably, you took the test in March, didn't you? April.
Was it? No, I think May.
April. May.
Is it April?
Also June, maybe the late April, May, something there, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then will be some in September, maybe something like that.
No, it was May 30th.
May 30th. Okay. So
I was like, no, it wasn't that long ago. I was like, it wasn't that long ago.
I have it somewhere. And you can always say, like, what's so special with the, it's many different kind of omegas in the market. We all know that it's good, and we have our favorite brands. And if you look at the science, some are good and some are actually quite not that good. When you make omegas, when you have the fish, you take all the the heavy metals away, and all, what do you say in English, refining, when you're producing it. It's other things that are other good things that also is going away, and especially the polyphenols. And polyphenol is a very strong antioxidant which protects the omega-3 fatty acid, the structure of it. Because one problem with omega is that it's very easily oxidating, and if it's oxidating, it doesn't, it's no good for you in the body. It's garbage. So the body has already found this out. Wherever it's omegas, there are polyphenols. In the olive oils, it's a lot of polyphenols. So in our balance oil, it's 40% premium extra super duper olive oil, together with 60% omega-3. And this is actually the foundation of why it actually works so good, because it doesn't oxidate, it doesn't smell fish. It's right omega-3 in your body, it goes in your blood and out to your cells. And that's the most important thing. And how do we know that it works? Well, we test it again. You see? So test, eat, and test again.
Yep. And so we're waiting. We'll come back again once
in September.
120 days, and we'll see where I'm at.
And the balance oil is also some vitamin D in it, because the fish has that. Everything in the Cincino products, we don't just have the omega-3, we have a few other things. Everything with is a plus behind is all natural, even the taste, natural sourced. We have even a better one. You didn't know this one, but it's a balance oil premium with a Revo olive oil in it. I use it sometimes, but it's a little bit better, but it also costs a little bit more. So we also have capsules, better for those that are traveling, because this one is need to be kept cold when you open it. But it's better with fluid, because you can actually dose it better. You can have it as much, you're going to eat like 0.15 milliliters per kilo body weight. So if you have an ounce and stuff in the States, but it's so it's easier to give to my kids, for example. I just give them a little spoon on the evening, and they like poof, right away. And I feel it's like it's like a fresh salmon right up in their brain without heavy metals, and it's like it just feels good. So
I've just been adding it to my morning greens drink, and I just shake it. I shake it in with that, and it doesn't taste bad. I did try taking it on its own. It was a little strong initially for me, a little, like it's oil. It's, you're drinking an oil. So it's a strange texture. So that's why I mix it in with my greens drink, and it doesn't taste fishy. It doesn't taste gross. It's not anything. It was just more the oil taking it by itself was more just like you're taking a spoonful of oil, and that's just a little strange, if you're not.
But it's in some way, I understand you, because we're all a bit, scared from fat in our society. Sugar is okay, but fat is not. So I think that's like in our brains from when we were kids and stuff. But fat can be good. So especially olive oil. I mean, we've been eating it for 2,000 years or more.
Yeah.
So we have a vegan one, of course, from algae. And I'm just going to show you a little bit about this because it's we have something that we call health protocol, and just so you know that it's not just about omegas. Even if omegas has this cruel big part in cell membrane and everything, and if we do the get the cellular balance with our oil, we also have the idea of the gut, Brittany. We aren't what we eat, we are what we absorb. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I love Restore. I've been taking that Restore every morning as well, and that I enjoy that.
So this is like 8 fibers, different kind of length, so they coming out in your column, and well, it makes it a good environment in your gut. And then we also add some vitamins and minerals. This is a multivitamin mineral thing, all natural. So that's like a 3-step. And then sometimes we add Viva, which is saffron. And saffron is a dopamine raising ingredients. So for some people that are feeling a little bit down, the Viva is magic. But it all starts with the balanced soil and the gut health. And then the vitamins and all that, that depends on how good you eat. I mean, if you go to, maybe can't say any names, but you know, take the fries and everything, every day, there's no nutrients. Most people that are on your channel here in your Facebook group are, you know, probably the top 10% or 15, I don't know. But you know, we are interested, so we probably eat quite well anyway.
Right.
So that's good.
Yeah, a lot of people are coming into the group because they're realizing that, you know, imbalance between, hey, you know, like I've been eating, especially here in America, you know, our food system is just garbage here. Our, you know, our sad standard American diet is horrible, and you know, it's contributing to all of these, you know, health issues. So yes, you know, eating a healthy diet is super important, and then supplementing with these healthy things that can really just help, you know, improve our health is really important for living a happy life.
Well, this is just like, you know, Friends of the Sea, and where the fish are, you know, small fishes from the Atlantic, and all that is, you know, good stuff. Every brand says that in a way, but just so you know. It's a Scandinavian company from Sweden, Norway. It's on the stock market, Nasdaq. It's all like direct selling. So we can put up a link if you're interested. So everything is shipped from Houston in the States. And I think it comes in 2 or 3 days, something like that.
Yeah, it didn't take long for me to get mine at all.
Some had a question about how much is it actually for a test. And if you just buy like one test, it's $165. But it's get better, because it's, if you buy the test, and you can buy it for $99, and you get a bottle for free.
Awesome.
So for one bottle and one test is $99.
That's a really good deal, because testing is expensive. You know,
Testing is expensive, so the test is quite easy.
Yeah.
And then it is like this: if you just go on, it's called subscribe, save and subscribe, I think it's called in the States. We have different, you know, ideas in Europe and the States. So in Europe, for example, you always buy like a 6-month subscription just to get this 120 days idea. But it's not legal to do that in the States. So we call it save and subscribe, which means that for $99, you start with one bottle and one test. And then if you keep on, the bottle is then $39 for one bottle. And if you do it for 5 months, they send out another test for free.
Awesome. That's a really good deal, because you're saving a lot of money, and it's important to test first and test after, right? You see the how well the product worked. And I'm super excited about, retesting here in, 4 or 5 months, because like I said, I've been taking, and I take high quality supplements. I was trained in supplements. I used to, work for a supplement store. I've been, trained on different brands, and I like Nordic Naturals and Carlson. And the one I had been taking was Carlson, which I thought was a pretty good, fish oil supplement. But then when I got my test results back, I was like, oh, well, maybe it's, not as good as I thought it was, or my body is not, absorbing it properly, because look at my ratio.
Yeah. So I will show you here. It's, I mean, you probably, or you can feel it in your body, but it's always good to test. So test, treat something, and then test again.
Yeah.
So this one on the right is $99 with the test and the bottle, and then it's $39 for every month, and then keep on doing it for 5 months, and then you send it another test for free. In addition to that, it's for every month you get like a $10 extra money on your Sensino account, which you can buy products for at the end. So if you do it for a year, you have $120 to buy other products for. That is quite unique too. And any questions about it, or just PM me in the group.
Yeah, and we'll leave all these links too, so you can check out this website, and absolutely, I'm sure Tobias would be happy to answer any questions that you have. Leave them below, or you can message him as well when it comes to.
I'm just going to show you a little bit here of, I think this is interesting.
Yes.
Because when you have testing and when you have database, you can just check the country where you live in and see what's the levels. So if we start with United States, average omega-6 first test 22.6, and you had 14. So you ate quite good anyway. So
yeah.
And
the balance, but better than most.
And the omega-3, the second test is 3.2. So then we could say probably you be or under 3 when you test next time. And it's only 22,000 tests done in the States. So we have a lot to do. And we have to help I feel it like we have to help the world to get balanced in a way. And if I compare to my country then, Sweden, do you all know that this country, this is Europe, I can say, this is Russia. So Sweden done 113 tests. And we're actually quite a lot better in the first test, 9.9. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And
that's pretty good to start. That's still lower than mine came out. Yeah, but I think you guys have a whole different like food system too, and you incorporate a lot more fish into your diet, if I'm correct.
Probably, right? But it's also, and I would say like this too. This is not like average from country, the whole population, because it's. I mean, these 113 tests, 113,000 tests. I mean, that's from the population that wants to be tested. And it's the same in the States. That's probably the best part of the population. You see what I mean? Right. So, I mean, imagine testing everyone. And kids. I mean, not many kids are on testing. So, I mean, we can take maybe like Italy, or maybe you think Greece is good, 24.8 to 1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
surprised with that.
There's only 2,000 tests done in Greece, so it's. I think Turkey was also
that's supposed to be the Mediterranean diet where everybody's super healthy, and
you should think so. But it's a lot of when you take it's not that easy to eat fresh fish. I think when you go to the Mediterranean, they always want to fry it quite hard. Maybe that's. I'm not sure about it. Spain, 21.7. It's only 4,000 tests done. We need to get Spain in a balance. Mexico hasn't yet, Mexico hasn't opened yet, so it opens up in September, October. And then we have a lot to do in Mexico too.
Yeah.
So
they're even not bad. What was I know Canada was pretty good.
yeah, Canada is a little bit better. It's 14-1. You're a Canadian.
Okay.
But it's also 2,000 tests done, so you can't really measure it, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be just the 2,000 in a health conference in Toronto or something.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you need more data to have accurate numbers for sure, but it's still very interesting. I find this all so fascinating. And I love the tests, because if you don't test, you guess and you have no idea, like I assumed that I would have a pretty good ratio, based on just my diet and supplementation and my lifestyle. And when I got those, I remember messaging you, I was like, I got my numbers and I'm in the red. Like, this is not good. I was pretty shocked.
But this is the whole idea of test-based, compared to guess-based. And you can take that in everything in life, but also in vitamins and minerals. So we also have a D vitamin test. It's summer, so it's maybe not that important, but in September or something, that would be good.
Yeah, vitamin D levels are super important as well. And I love the fact that, the balance oil, it does contain the natural vitamin D, especially, here in the States. So many people are deficient in vitamin D. Now, though, no, that is a huge risk factor. And I'm not going to say the word because we don't want to get flagged. I'm already in trouble with Facebook. But with the thing that's been going around for the last 2.5 years, right, in terms of your health outcomes. So having adequate vitamin D levels is super important. And that's one thing that I like to get for my clients as well, as a vitamin D test, because that can tell you a lot too. Yes.
And also I think the idea of, we had a chat about this earlier, you and me, but it has to be kind of somehow doable to do all these changes in life. So I think taking the balance oil is quite easy. Mm-hmm. You can add some fibers and you can add it. So add before subtract, the idea of it. So you add good things. You don't need to take away everything you like in life. Because it's better to go, towards something that is good with a happy smile. And, also when the body is getting more balanced, you probably will feel it in your body and you make more healthy decisions in life and choose better things. So start with something that is doable, and you can take it that with training and everything, but make it doable. Yeah, absolutely. Change a little bit.
Taking a couple tablespoons of this a day is absolutely doable, and it's going to do profound things to your health. So many people are walking around with this chronic inflammation because we have this high omega-6 ratio to omega-3 ratio, and we really need to balance that out so that people are more healthy. And yes, it affects our mental health, it affects our cellular health, it affects our body's inflammatory response. So something just as simple as this, and this is affordable too. This is very affordable. You get the test kit and a month's worth of oil for the $99, and then it's about $30 a piece here in the US per month. It's like $1 a day. Yeah, a little more than $1 a day. Cheaper than your Starbucks, cheaper than a lot of things, and it's really gonna just do great things for your health.
So I tested my kids, and one was worse than the other, but then it was like a competition for them. So I want to be, the best one. And then so it was quite easy to get them to take it. And then after a year or something, it's like a habit. So now my daughter, she's 9 years old, Daddy, remember the oil before we go to bed. And then it's just a habit. So, just to get used to it.
That's cool. So they take it before bed. Do you recommend, is there like a certain time of day maybe where people should take it, or does it matter?
Good question. No, It's normally with all vitamins and minerals, you should take it with food, because then your body is like, everything works. It's a better bit uptake. I'm taking it in the beginning of the morning, so I take it in my yogurt if I have that.
Okay.
I think it has to be doable again. So I mean, lunchtime is probably difficult because then you have to have a bottle at your work. Maybe you go out for dinner or something. So whatever works.
Right. Whatever you're going to do and be consistent with.
Yeah.
So it's not so important with timing. Yeah, I take one in the morning. When I'm getting my morning stuff together, and it's super easy. I just, I'm already taking my greens drink anyways, and I just pour it right in that and shake it up and take it, and I'm good to go.
There you go. Good to go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Let us know. I can't see if anybody is on here live anymore, but if anybody has any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments. If you're watching the replay, feel free to leave any questions in here. You can message Tobias directly as well, or tag him in the comments, and
just reach out. I'm here.
Yeah, and we will put all the links as well into the comment section too. I know we'll get a lot of people on the replay as well, but sometimes it shows me who's watching, and today it is not showing me, so I don't know who's here. So if you're here, you can feel free to ask any questions. Otherwise, leave them in the comment section, and Tobias will get to it.
Yeah, definitely. Many thanks.
Yes, absolutely. So, I'm going to tag you in this video, Tobias, so people can reach out to you directly. Is there anything else you want to say before we take off?
No, just help me balance United States.
Yes, we definitely need it here. I know that for sure. I know that for sure. Well, I thank you so much, Tobias, for your time, for coming and educating us on omega-3s. And that was, the testing was initially what got me. And I told you, I was like, I love testing. This is what I do. I love the testing. And so I just appreciate, you doing this for me and allowing me to experience this, because it's really given me some insights. Like I said, I was pretty shocked. I thought I would have been better. But then I look at the number in the US and I'm like, well, maybe I'm not so bad, but I'm still not where I want to be. Right. So I'm really excited to, continue this process, and, we'll definitely have to do this again, and have to have you back on here, and we'll show everybody the changes, yeah, exactly. The results of everything.
No, but it's my pleasure actually. And it's many ways in it. It's like, I really do want to spread the word of it, because I do think that test-based nutrition is the future. So we could go at the test-based, then we could also, reach out to many more people. Yes, test it then, and then we know. And then you don't need an argument. So that's the way it is.
One last question for you. So we get a lot of questions in the group, I'm sure you've seen, with like kids and like ADHD and things like that. And I typically, I always recommend, omega-3s are so important for that. You had kind of mentioned, do kids not get tested as much as adults, right?
Oh, that's just a money issue.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's just what the parents wants to pay for. I think I tested my kids, and I think it's a super, cheap test actually. Because it's a lab test.
It's cheaper than any of the tests that I run for, my clients, in terms of the GI map and the food allergy testing and all those other, tests that I run if they need them. But so if parents are experiencing this with their children, symptoms of like ADHD, hyperactivity, this could really benefit them, correct?
Yes, super important. It's super important with the brain, all the numbers, what do you say, HDD, ADD, everything with the brain, actually. 60% of our, brain is fatty acids. Yeah. The DHA is, most important there. So everything super important. And I think, you know, if you have bad number, well, try it. You
Yep,
see,
absolutely.
you will see quite soon in those small bodies, you know, I think, well, maybe depends on what the symptom is, but it's anyway an improvement then, if you say.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that this could benefit a lot of parents who, you know, are looking for holistic help in terms of their kids' behavior and hyperactivity levels. You know, this could give them a huge insight on this, you know, balance and
And the
give them-
most, the omega tablets or omega gums or whatever you have to the kids, normal, you know, capsules are quite big, but if you have a small one, it could work. But most, I think, at least in Sweden, they buy like, they a lot of sugar in it.
Mhm.
And all this, you know, just to get the kids to eat it.
Yeah,
But I
we
mean,
love that.
it is something that the ADHD bodies don't need, is that sugar.
Yep.
So
Yep. Diet makes a huge difference in that omega-3. So I'll definitely, when I see those questions arise in the group, and I've been doing that lately, is, you know, tagging you more, because I think it's just so beneficial for parents to, you know, have those, because I mean, here in America, we have an epidemic of this, right? These kids are being diagnosed with ADHD and, you know, oppositional defiance disorder, all of these like behavioral and, you know, hyperactivity disorders, and really it's nutrient deficiencies, it's diet,
yeah,
you know, these artificial things, all the sugar, and then, you know, we don't have enough omega-3s to really help their brain function properly.
no. So it's and it's not their fault, you know.
Yeah.
It's a
No.
society in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again so much, Tobias, for your time today. I so much appreciate you coming and talking with us, and you are invited back to come and chat with us anytime.
Okay.
And you have oh, I see it's starting to get dark where you are now. Finally, it's like almost 10 o'clock. Oh, awesome, Tobias. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Yes, take care. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.